Ay, ay, ay. Hey. Welcome again to this is a record, a second one in the period of about 3 or 4 hours. So I'm glad to have you all here, whoever's here. Please, we're going to wait for a little bit, wait for some more people to file in. It is 6:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is February 19th, 2026, and my name is Eric. This is Return of the King. This is episode number 44, I believe. If you haven't yet, please hit the thumbs up button, like, comment if you would, and subscribe. Definitely subscribing and liking are the two most important things you can do to help me and support this channel, support this ministry. They're going to wait for a little bit. I don't know how many people are going to be here. Make yourself known. If you're here, please make yourself known. If you don't have an account, it's going to be hard to make yourself known. He's raising his hand right now, and he's saying he's here. He's a little buddy. Meow, meow. What are you doing, huh, little buddy? I was hoping we'd have some more people coming in. Hopefully we got some coming in. I don't know. Is what's his name live right now? Because if he's live, we're gonna probably Red Hill Town. See the lights go down on. I'm hanging on. All that's left to hold on to. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Got 5 here. I'm guessing some people here don't have accounts. So we got myself and you, Andrea, here, who's got accounts. Hopefully we'll get Victor and Valerie in here. Hopefully Mustard Seed, Stereo Heavens. Kathy Ann, Donna. Who else? Oh man, Lynn. What are you doing? Are you trying to get in or trying to get out? I know what he's going to do now. He's going to start trying to claw on the door and stuff. Hopefully Alana will be here. Amanda will be here. Kirk, I don't know. I don't know if he's interested anymore. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. He's kind of giving off signals that might not be overly interested anymore. I don't know. Today we're going to talk about something that it's a freestyle session, by the way. So make your views known, comment, chirp up, as they say, if you can. We must have quite 3 or 4 people that don't have YouTube accounts. I would recommend you get YouTube accounts. It shouldn't be that tough. All you have to do is have a phone, preferably a cell phone. They'll send you a code and you can have an account because unfortunately they want your phone number, which bothers me. Hey, how you doing, Amanda? How you doing? Glad to have you here. It's funny, Amanda, because the fact that you're here, this is what I'm getting ready to talk about was hello, Victor. How you doing, bud? The very video I was going to send you a link to, because a lot of us always wonder, how do we get where we're at? How do we get where we're at? Why? Hey, it's my girl, Retta. Everyone say hello to Retta. She's another one of my good friends from Facebook. Yahweh Kai, Most High. She's a Christian like the rest of us. Everyone say hi to Retta and welcome her. We want her to stay, and hopefully she'll continue to come to these live streams. She was very faithful the last time I had a channel. But we're going to talk about, either way today, why we're in the situation we're in. You sit there and look at everything, what's going on in the world, and especially morality. Morality has went in the toilet. We accept things that we never would have years ago. We never would have. We'd have known right from wrong instinctively. Now I think a lot of people understand right and wrong. Hey, Kathy, how you doing? A lot of people understand right and wrong now, but a lot of people their feelings, they suppress their feelings because of political correctness. Her name's Retta. That's what her name is. But I'm sure a lot of you, if you're from America and if you're a certain age, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of a guy by the name of Alfred Kinsey. Now, this guy is held up like he's some saint of sexual research. Let me tell you something about Mr. Alfred Kinsey. He was one of the worst things that could have ever happened to our country. You look about this Epstein stuff that just came out. And Amanda, I know you talked about that. I've looked a little bit of it, but I haven't looked at a lot of it. I've looked at some of the names. I'm not shocked. I know if I delved into it further, I would probably be shocked because I've heard there's some nasty, sick stuff. Not that I'm surprised. We've been being told about this for how long now that our leaders and the people that are the movers and shakers in the world, whether they're politicians, celebrities, athletes, excuse me, in the Hollywood entertainment industry, some of the academia, we've been told these people are not good people. And I think sometimes we don't want to believe it. But now we have, as far as I'm concerned, we have positive confirmation that these people are sick. And I mean sick beyond sick. Evil. I mean evil, excuse my language, evil bastards. I'm sorry. That's no other way to put it. But if you want to see why we're so messed up today, go back and look at a guy named Alfred Kinsey. He is trumped as such a good, he's really groundbreaking research. Do you know how he got his research done? Does anyone understand how he got his research done? He's talked about the sexuality. He put out 2 explosive books, one in the 40s, and I believe the other one was in the 50s, about the sexuality of the American male, and then the next one was the sexuality of the American female. He put them out. I'm sorry to hear that, Amanda. I appreciate the fact that you looked at it and you told people about it, but I'm sorry that you had to view what you viewed, because I imagine, as I said, I seen a little, I didn't see a lot, and I know that there's just some sick stuff going on. And these people, when you start targeting children, that's where you really, the Epstein files. How you doing, Kathy Ann? Kathy Ann. But these people, when you go after children, that's when you raise my ire. It's bad enough. I mean, guys, I'm just going to tell you right now, gay marriage is wrong. I don't agree with it. And one of the reasons we're in the mess we're in is because of Alfred Kinsey. Because when he brought out his 2 books, Sexuality of the American Male, Sexuality of the American Female, he lied. He skewed stats. You know how he done this stuff? And I'm going to give you guys the video to watch. I'm going to give you a little bit of homework, if you will, if you can tolerate it. This guy used very messed up research, messed up stats to do his research. He tried to claim back in the 50s that up to 10% of American males were homosexual, and up to 30% had homosexual experiences. This is back in the 50s. This sicko, did you know Alfred Kinsey was not only a homosexual himself or bisexual, he was also a pedophile? See, here's when people talk about, you shouldn't discriminate. You should like if a gay person wants to teach school. No, they're not teaching school because they're undeniably, inevitably going to bring in their lifestyle into the class one way or the other, and they might do it accidentally. I remember literally seeing back it's been within the last 10 to 12 years, literally there was a teacher real close to the San Francisco area, big shock, that literally took his class to a gay wedding. All right. So either way, Alfred Kinsey, you know what he used as his test and sample group? He used a lot of convicts from prisons. That's where he got a lot of his people at, ne'er-do-wells. And I'm not saying these are bad people, but I'm saying a lot of these people get in the situations they're in because of their lifestyle. And then this idiot, Alfred Kinsey, used them. And he influenced the American people. Look what we have today going on in this country. There's some people that are literally trying to excuse and try and talk about pedophilia like, well, maybe we should start looking at this. No, we'll never look at it. Children are precious. They're precious. And one of the reasons people sit there and say, why do you care so much, Eric? You don't have any children. It's because I remember being a kid. And I loved being a kid. And I was thankful to the good Lord above that I had a normal childhood. I didn't have to worry about being molested. All right. I had a pretty decent family, a Judeo-Christian family, which is what our founding was. This guy, though, this Alfred Kinsey, do you know how some of the research he also tried to say basically similar about females that I don't know how it was percentage were lesbians or whatever, but does people understand that the gay rights movement and NAMBLA used to be joined together? And the only reason that the gay rights movement separated themselves from NAMBLA, you want to know why? Because they knew it wouldn't look good. There's documentation to show that, hey, we can't have NAMBLA here. That's going to totally cripple us on our mission. People are never going to accept us if we accept, pedophilia, pederasty, I'm not sure. Yeah, also, I was going to ask if anyone here, even if you have your own channel, I know some of you guys have your own channels. If you're interested in being a moderator, I'd appreciate it. I might lose a moderator. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. But if you're interested in being a moderator, I'd appreciate it. If I know you, if I have a feeling, like Retta, if you would want to be a moderator, I would make you a moderator in a second because I know you, Retta. But either way, we are in the mess we're in because of Alfred Kinsey. Do you understand how he done his research? This sicko literally did research with pedophiles. And how he got away with it was by saying, oh, we're not telling them to do this, but they do it. And we just get their stats from them. They literally used a clock, a stopwatch to be able to time how long it took kids to have orgasms. And I'm not kidding you. In the tables, this was on Donahue, it was documented. On the tables that they call them, they literally show some of the test subjects. I am not kidding you. As God be my witness, guess how old one was? Hello, Alana, how you doing? Guess how old one of them was? A 4-month-old. Boys, girls. And this sicko, if there was this is how this creep got his, the kids are sexual from birth. That's what he said. That's what his findings were. He said kids are sexual from birth. Yeah, yikes indeed. Kids are not sexual from birth. And when they would do these, and these sicko adults would bring some of their own kids in. You wonder why kids are disappearing. Why everyone ever wonder why kids all of a sudden one day some kids just disappears out of the blue, nowhere. They don't know where they're at. You know why? We've seen the Epstein files. Or I wouldn't say we've seen them, but we know about them. The Epstein files, you could absolutely tie the Epstein files in with Kinsey's research. Because Kinsey's the one that said kids are sexual from birth. Did you also know this furthermore? Did you also know that they're trying to reclassify pedophiles as quote unquote minor attracted persons? MAPS is what they call them. MAPS, minor attracted. You know what that is, don't you? It's the same thing with calling a homosexual a sodomite or a homosexual. What do they call them now? They call them LGBTs. It takes away the stigma that rightfully belongs to them. MAPS, minor attracted person. That is a pedophile. And as far as I'm concerned, guys, I'm a Christian, but pedophiles, there's only one remedy for them: castration. That's what I would do. And I know it sounds horrible, guys, but they say that recidivism is high in the pedophilia community. High. In other words, they're going to reoffend, almost guaranteed. They need help. Serious help. And the only one that could do that would be the Lord up above. He's the only one that can help them. All these other programs they have, but either way, these how he would get about saying that, like this one girl was like 10-year-old, and they said that she had up to 26 orgasms in 24 hours. And they said, how did they know? Hello, Donna, how are you doing? Glad to have you here. They said, how do we know that she had orgasms? Because it was any kind of reaction. It was a scream. And these kids, they would say, they would document this stuff. These kids would slap their quote unquote partner. They would do all kinds of things. They'd scream. They would start crying. And this, according to Alfred Kinsey, Clarence Tripp, Paul Gebhard, Wardell Pomeroy, all these deviants, these perverts that were doing this research, according to them, any kind of reaction they considered an orgasm. It was not orgasm. A lot of times it was, one second here, I'm trying to think of something. One second. Now they're sending pregnant migrants to a place in Texas. But either way, he used all kinds of people. Did you also know, furthermore, that Alfred Kinsey was in contact with a Nazi? Because a lot of the research he done was in the 40s and 50s. He was in contact with a Nazi. This Nazi's name was von Balusek. So, in case you're wondering, well, how you know this, once you see this documentary, if you're willing to watch it, there's nothing graphic that you'll see, so don't worry about that. But they go through the whole rigmarole of how the sexual revolution was started by Alfred Kinsey. Why do you think one of the reasons our society, especially the West, is so screwed up? It's because of Alfred Kinsey. And the person that he learned from was named Robert Dickinson. Robert Dickinson. If you look at some of these people, and at the end of this documentary, you will see them talk about NAMBLA. One of the people that was in charge, you realize one of the people that really pushed the gay rights movement big time was a man named Harry Hay. He was a British immigrant to America. He was one of the early founders of the gay rights movement, the Mattachine Society. Harry Hay was his name. He was a British immigrant, and he started going on these boats, these cutter boats, and he would basically prostitute himself out. He was one of the early heroes of the gay rights movement, right up there with Armistead Maupin and Frank Kamini and all these people. And I'm going to tell you some other things that you're going to be surprised about. But either way, Harry Hay also wanted NAMBLA to be part of it. He promoted NAMBLA. Harry Hay did. He wanted NAMBLA to be a part of the gay rights movement, the LGBT. Because eventually, I'm telling you, my friends, they are going to try to push pedophilia. And we have to be ready, and we have to say in one clear voice, you're not doing this. You will not offend these children. You aren't going to touch them. We're not going to agree to it. We're not going to back down like we foolishly did when it comes to gay marriage. Everyone thinks, oh, what does it matter? Love is love. No, love is not love. Love is not love. Not what they're doing. That's not love. I love my brother. I love my dad. I love my sisters. Doesn't mean I want to swap spit with them and get married to them. See what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't realize why everything got so out of hand. Why we're looking at what we're looking at now in schools now. You got gay rights clubs in schools. You got transgender stuff going on. All of this stuff is under, the age of consent. Exactly. There's supposed to be an age of consent. And there is still, Andrea, but there are people that are trying to lower that. I don't know about all the countries. I don't know about Australia, but in America, there are people. Do you realize, my friends, my family, that they literally had a conference a couple times, one time in Baltimore and another time was in Germany. These conferences, you know what they done, quote unquote, they were trying to lift the stigma of pedophilia, lift the stigma. You see what they're trying to do there? They're trying to get you to rethink it, to say, okay, well, we were always told this is wrong, but let's take a look at it. It's like, no, we're not taking a look at it. That's the way I look at it. Right? Children are precious. They're innocent. And the idea of a kid having their innocence stolen by some sick, evil person makes my blood boil. It really does. They had this conference, though, wanted to, quote unquote, let the pedophiles come out of the shadows, quote unquote. You should have seen some of the stuff that I read about this. Now, this is not in the documentary I want you guys to watch. You should have seen some of the stuff in this conference in Baltimore. I forget what it was called, but it was a bunch of quote unquote health professionals. These people are sick. We have let them in our midst, and people sit there and say, oh, welcome everyone. No, you shouldn't welcome everyone, because some people are not going to change. Now, I'm not sitting there advocating that you should welcome them into your church. If they come into your church or they come into your group, it's one thing to welcome them. It's a whole other thing to say, you can stay as you are. We're not going to worry. No, when you come to Christ, you're supposed to change. He's not supposed to change. You're supposed to change. So another thing they done. This is another thing I might want to tell you guys about this. I don't know if you'll see this in there. You might see it in there in this documentary. It's called the SDMD, the Statistical Diagnostic of Mental Disorders, the SDMD. And did you know that years ago, homosexuality was on that list of mental disorders? Just like transgenderism now, it's still on the list. Now, here's the thing. Did you know that? The, good question, Kathy. It might be the subject matter. I'm sorry that's happening. That's happened to me before, too. Um, Either way, I'm a little bit different than you, Donna. I feel like as long as they're adults. Now, if a person's going out of their way, I mean, because when a woman's 18, when a man's 18, they reach the age of their age of maturity. Most by then usually have reached their age of maturity. What I have a problem with is when they're young kids. Okay, either way, but did you know that in the SDMD, homosexuality was part of it? Any kind of sexual aberration, bisexuality, bestiality, all this stuff was in the SDMD as mental disorders. Did you know in the 70s, a guy named Frank Kamini used to disrupt the meetings of the APA. The APA will be the ones in charge of saying, okay, this is a mental disorder. They would harass them, threaten them. This Frank Kamini and this group of people, they would harass them and threaten them, and then tell them, "You have to take we want you to take this homosexuality out of the SDMD, the Statistical Diagnostic of Mental Disorders. They want you to take it out of there." Of course, for a while they held strong and said no. Eventually, the cowards capitulated, and they eventually ended up taking it out. And the guy that the head of the APA at the time, named Nicholas Cummings, said we made a big mistake. We shouldn't have done that. And he said a lot of people wanted to do more research and said, well, we're going to do more research. We at least want to know and find out before we take it out. You know what? Frank Kamini and his little group of, I call them Mary Fairies, in their little group, they wouldn't hear that. It's like, no, you're not going to do more research. Just take it out. I don't understand why they did not hold strong and say, we're the APA. We know better than you. But guys, we're in the mess we're in right now because of Alfred Kinsey. He's not the only reason. Here's another thing about Alfred Kinsey that you'll find out when you watch this documentary, if you watch it. Alfred Kinsey admired and went to the place where Aleister Crowley was at. Now, if you don't know who Aleister Crowley is, look him up. He was considered one time the most evil man in Great Britain. 1 second, guys. 1 second, guys. Hold on. Just bear with me here. Sorry, guys. Okay, either way, getting back to it, he knew Aleister Crowley, and Aleister Crowley was one of the most wicked men that ever lived. Never mind Great Britain. He was the most wicked man in Great Britain. He was one of the most wicked men. This guy was into all kinds of sickness, something called blood sugar sex magic. I mean, he was into a lot of wacky. He was a Satanist. He was a homosexual, bisexual, whatever you want to say, either. But this guy was wicked to the core, and he actually had contact with Satan. At least that's what he says, and I had no reason to doubt the guy because he called himself the Beast. That was his nickname, the Beast. Look him up, Aleister Crowley. Andrea, you might know of who he is because you're Australian, and But guys, the reason I wanted to do this, I'm going to tell you right now the name of this documentary is called The Kinsey Syndrome. It's right here on YouTube. And guys, I ask you to watch it. It's over 2 hours. It's a long program, but I'll tell you right now, it'll open your eyes. It will definitely open your eyes big time. People tried to fight them all along the way, but you know why? They probably weren't successful because the people that they were fighting. And another thing that was really interesting, you'll see this, is you've heard of the Rockefellers, right? They're one of the richest families in America, and they were back then. They still probably are. They just ain't as well known because time has went on, and John Rockefeller's been long dead. The Rockefellers were in charge, and when they started getting into researching Alfred Kinsey in the Kinsey Institute, the Rockefeller Foundation said, if you don't stop immediately, we're going to pull all your funding. They wanted to research Alfred Kinsey and Alfred Kinsey's research, but they were stopped. So, you know, we basically were sold a bill of goods by Alfred Kinsey. We were sold a bill of goods, and it was a big fat lie. So the name of the documentary, I want you guys to watch it. I really do. I'd like you to watch it. It's called The Kinsey Syndrome. It's on YouTube. They have about 3 different videos. They're all the same, but they're just different people putting them up. And I know probably why they're putting them up. So we see, here's the thing, sad thing about it is, if you've been duped by this and you watch this and you think, boy, if you get mad about it, you're part of the problem. That's the way I look at it. If you look at something and it gives you new information about something, you should change your point of view. I would think that people would start changing it. I'm not telling people, I've never said this and I won't say it now. I'm not telling people to go out and be mean to people. I'm not saying you should be mean to people, but you have a right. Like I said, my old show, you have a right to your feelings. If something like they call people homophobes and bigots and stuff like that because they have a natural reaction to that. They have a natural reaction to, I mean, let's be honest, guys. If a man or a woman sees 2 of the same gender kissing, it's going to make you ill, most likely. You ain't going to be like, oh, that's so precious. Most people are going to be like, and even people that say they're all right with it, most of them are not going to, they ain't going to say it out loud because they're liberal. They don't want to ruin their liberal credentials, but most of them are going to be offended by it. They're going to be like, I don't want to see that. But yet they try and say people are homophobes because we don't want to be around stuff like that. 1 second. Chewy, you going to come in? Oh, big boy. He's a nice little boy. But, excuse me. So, the Kinsey Syndrome is something that I would encourage everyone to watch. Everyone, if you're sitting there wondering, how do we get in such a mess? How do we get with this whole transgender stuff where now they're trying to transition children that are as young as 6 years old, 5 years old to being the opposite sex. Oh, you want to be the opposite sex. You're a guy, but you wonder how we got where we're at. Gay marriage, that was really what kicked it off. But why we got the gay marriage is where you got to ask yourself. That was because of Kinsey. Kinsey was trying to act like there was a lot of the public that was homosexuals, and that was a lie. Another thing was funny, and you'll see this in the documentary if you watch it. Kinsey tried to say up to 10% of American males were homosexual back in the 50s, or the late 40s or the 50s, trying to say that. They found out years later, like in the late 70s, early 80s, that figure was a bunch of garbage. That it was in the 80s, this was in the late 70s, early 80s, they said that they found out the American population of homosexuals was probably 1% of males. 1%. 1%. But yet they would have you believe that they're all over the place and that, they're just like, I'm sorry, they're not like everyone else. All right. And I don't think you should be mean to anyone, whether they're transgender, homosexual, bisexual, lesbian. You shouldn't be mean to them. But at the same time, you should also call a spade a spade. See what I'm saying? That is perverse. That's deviant. And that's why they changed the term from sodomite to homosexual to gay. Remember gay? They called gay for a while. Notice how they're trying to take the focus off, sodomite. Sodomy. We know what that is. Same thing with pedophilia. They're trying to take away the word pedophilia and call them, instead of calling them a pedophile, call them a minor attracted person. See, you got to watch how they work. They work very, very in increments and baby steps. And you've got to watch it because they will pull the wool over your eyes if you don't have a discerning mind and if you don't have Christ. If you don't have Christ in your life, you're probably more likely to fall for this stuff. All right. Well, it's Mandy. Hello, Mandy. Glad to have you here, Mandy. But guys, I think everyone should watch that. The Kinsey syndrome. Watch it. It's called the Kinsey syndrome. And like I said, it's here on YouTube. Be prepared. Get yourself something to eat. Get yourself something to drink because it's a long documentary. It's literally the length of a long movie. It's 2 hours and like 40 minutes. Anyone have anything to say? Anyone got any comments or feedback from me? Speak now or forever hold your peace. What's wrong, you Chewy? Come on, guys. Let me know. Talk to me. Talk to me. Yeah, being off work's always nice when you hear that whistle or whatever you're hearing. See, I got a cat on my chest, and I got a cat on my chest. All right, guys, how's it going? Hey, Loretta, how you doing, Loretta? Oh, come on now, buddy. Why do you always got to do this? You always got to try and get away. Glad you're back doing this. Thanks, Retta. I appreciate it. And I knew it wouldn't take at all any arm twisting to get you to start watching again. I really appreciate it, Retta. You was with me with the old channel. I don't know if you know this, but I still have my oldest channel is still up here on YouTube. Everyone, yeah, Retta, she's new. Retta is Yahweh Kai Most High. Good friend. I really like her. What are you doing, silly? So, guys, does anyone else have anything to say? Just waiting on you. Am I posting on the other channels? No, just this channel. Because the other channel, I lost my password. I have no idea what it is. It's called Rix, R-I-X, Rixon, R-I-X-O-N. It's Retta with a T, R-E-T-T-A. She's a good girl. Good woman. Not girl, woman. Oh, really? Huh. There you go, Retta. Mandy, unless you got anything to say, Mandy? I mean, you don't have to leave right away. We're trying to get a conversation started. Well, I gave you a little bit of reason why the world's such a crazy place. A guy named Alfred Kinsey, who was influenced by a guy named Robert Dickinson. Yeah, it's called the Kinsey syndrome. Everyone, you should watch it. And like I said, it'll explain a lot to you. You'll know why we've gotten to where we're at. Yeah, her name is Retta with a T. So I figured people might have some more comments. Victor, are you still there? Valerie never showed up. Oh boy, sorry guys, I gotta itch my back. I'm doing the polar bear. I never thought of that, Loretta. Hey, Retta, I never thought of that. Is your name Loretta, Yahweh? Retta? Oh man, sorry guys. Just showing you that I have all my hair, ladies. Well, guys, if no one has anything to say, I'm going to shut this down. Ah, Henrietta. Okay. Loretta and Henrietta. Anyone have anything to say before I shut this baby down? Waiting on my liver pills. I'm going to start trying to tone down and start losing some of this excess, losing this excess weight. My next live, it'll probably, I go live just about every day, Retta. Let me explain to you some stuff just so you know. I have like three different types of videos that I do. One is just a regular, I have a subject and I just talk and give you facts and stuff and whatever else. Yeah, liver pills. Yep. Because liver pills can help your liver. Believe it or not, you need liver to eat liver to help your liver. I think I have what they call fatty liver. But either way, I have three different types of videos. One, just a subject. Then I have, usually it's called a freestyle session where I have, this technically is a freestyle session where I don't do a whole lot of research, but I let people more kind of add to it. And then there's a freestyle session, no filler. That's, you know, I also take milk thistle. Well, actually, there's the thing, Reddit. It's not usually always the same time. I could go as early as the afternoon or as late as 10. So I'd say it's anywhere from, say, 2 to 10 p.m. Any of them times. But if you're subscribed, it'll tell you, it'll let you know. And if you need me to, I can always give you a link in case you need an extra reminder. So, guys, I think we're done here, unless anyone's got anything to say. Retta. 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, I'm going to shut this down, all right? God bless everyone. Love you all.